Spirit Halloween has revealed a bunch of their brand new animatronics, a part of their 2026 lineup for this Halloween season. Let's take a look. Hello, I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but hello everyone, I am back and here to talk about Spirit Halloween's brand new 2026 lineup drop number 1 thus far. So, a little backstory to why I took a break. If you didn't know, I hadn't been uploading since about August of last year, so I didn't really cover any Spirit Halloween tours, same with other Halloween retailers, etc. Continue to talk about Spirit Halloween lineup drops. As last year was my 10-year anniversary, I was planning to go all out, make a whole bunch of videos talking about the channel and do the same things I've been doing for the past, well, now 11 years. But I unfortunately just kind of ran out of time and ran out of steam. So I decided to use this 10-year anniversary as a break and a time to relax and recharge, to talk about next year's Halloween items, which, well, now it's 2026. So it's time for me to talk about it. I was planning to make a video talking about Spirit Halloween 2026's Halfway to Halloween drop. However, I lost track of time, and as many of you guys know, I'm in college still. I'm actually going into my senior year, which I can't believe it, but I unfortunately don't have a lot of time to talk about Spirit Halloween or any other Halloween retailers drops for Halfway Halloween and anything that happens, during the school year. But now that I'm back for the summer, I had some time to talk about what I've missed, and first it's gonna be Spirit Halloween. So for their Halfway to Halloween, they showcased a bunch of animatronics on Polaroid photos, pretty much their entire 2026 lineup, which is kind of crazy. Well, some of their items were leaked last year, which is kind of why I think they showcased everything. But I found it very interesting how they did end up showing everything off, pretty much. There were a few Polaroid photos that were left blank to kind of leave in suspense of what they could be. We have our suspicions, but they're not here yet, so we're going to talk about them at a later point. But with that being said, the 2026 teaser showcased their brand new theme for 2026, that being Camp Harbor Lake. Now, a lot of people have received their Spirit Halloween PR boxes, have done their videos. I unfortunately do not have mine yet, or might not get one. So Spirit Halloween did a little thing this year, which I think kind of messed up a lot of people's chances to get a Spirit Halloween PR box, myself included and a few others. If you haven't seen the Spirit Halloween PR box, it's pretty cool. I was trying not to spoil myself as I was waiting for mine, but inside the box it showcased a bunch of items featuring Camp Harbor Lake's logo and a bunch of other kind of souvenirs, including a water bottle, a backpack to kind of relate to the camp theme, which I'm very excited for, as this is Spirit Halloween's first campsite theme we've seen. They have done woods related themes in the past, including the Spirit Hollow Bridge released in 2017 in the Wicked Woods back in 2009, which is the first year with the Spirit. But now we're going to get the Camp Harbor Lake, which I'm very excited about, and we actually have seen a little bit of the glimpses of what the theme will look like. I'm very excited to see that, and hopefully we'll start to see some more kind of sneak previews of what the theme will actually look like when the store starts setting up. Alright, let's talk about what dropped today. So I of course, I'm always away when Spirit Halloween decides to drop their lineup or a big teaser. I was away from home for a few days, and I knew they were going to drop something. I had that feeling, and of course they did. This has happened many years in a row, so I'm not surprised, but it kind of gave me some more time to take a look at everything that had dropped and formulate my opinions on everything and share with you guys my opinion so far on the 2026 lineup. Now, starting at the top of the list, we got the Pumpkin Punisher. So he's a pumpkin killer holding an axe, and his animation is him kind of leaning forward in a jump scare motion. I do like the overall look of him a lot. I think the face is very decent. This guy is made by 𝐃𝐀𝐫𝐤, which 𝐃𝐀𝐫𝐤 is pretty much known for a lot of their jump scare animatronics. Now, this one's jump scare, I don't know if it's really considered a jump scare, but the way he kind of leans forward makes it seem like that. But it's not very a fast animation, but I do kind of like the overall design and idea of him. The face is pretty cool. The axe is pretty cool. I do like his costume. He is retailing for $349.99, which is kind of more on the expensive side, but he does stand at 7 feet 1 inches, which is pretty tall for this character. But I'm pretty excited to see what he looks like in stores and when people start setting him up, which will maybe change my opinion a little bit more on him. But I do like him a lot. But it's great to see kind of more of these pumpkin monsters coming back, which is another pumpkin character which we'll talk about later in the video. But I do like Pumpkin Punisher a lot. I think the name is really cool. They've been, I think, stepping up their game with the names for a lot of these animatronics, and I think Pumpkin Punisher is a pretty good name for this animatronic. So I just wish there was a little bit more to him. That's all. But I know there's a lot of you guys that like him, and I'm not going to hate on that. So I do like him overall, but not one of my favorites of this year. Next up is Crackles the Clown animatronic, which is actually one of my favorite clown animatronics we've gotten in a while. Now, I noticed some hate around the clown animatronics at Spirit Halloween as they've been overdone, and we've seen a clown animatronic almost every year, but this clown animatronic is kind of special in its way, as it features a new mechanism we haven't really seen at Spirit Halloween before. His face splits open and revealed its kind of monster demon looking face, which I actually really like, and we haven't really seen a kind of face splitting open mechanism ever at Spirit Halloween. There might be a few, I just can't remember off the top of my head, but I think for this clown in particular, it's very cool and very interesting how they gave it to a clown animatronic rather than something else. But I do like the idea, and I think with the overall look of him, it makes a lot of sense as he looks like a vintage clown animatronic, similar to Waving Wally seen in 2019. I do like the blue and white stripes on him, as well as the hair. The spiky hair I think is really cool, and the face looks really awesome too. It's not like a clown humanoid zombie latex moving face. It's actually, you know, a plastic it's a vintage looking clown mask, which I love, you know, vintage Halloween and vintage, you know, items, and I think that's really cool to add to him. This guy stands at 6 feet 6 inches and does retail for $249.99. It is made by Seasonal Visions, which I think Seasonal Visions pretty much killed it with this one. I'm very excited to see this guy in stores, and I know he will be a lot of your guys' pickups for this year. Next is my personal favorite so far of the 2026 lineup, that being the Doomsday Duo. These gas mask holding zombies kind of related to a Doomsday theme. This is definitely one of the more creative things we've seen at Spirit Halloween in a while in terms of their theming. You know, they're not a regular scarecrow, they're not a clown, they're not a reaper. They're zombies, which I like. Zombies are one of my favorite animatronics seen at Spirit Halloween. And I really love the concept of these guys a lot. I'm a really big fan of kind of like the end of the world gas masks and Chernobyl kind of related themes. They're very creepy, and I love when we get animatronics of them. We really don't get a whole lot of hazmat, radiation, or like gas mask wearing zombies. We've gotten a hazmat zombie in the past, and we've gotten a few other kind of like toxic related zombies in previous years, but I like these animatronics in particular just because they're wearing the gas mask, and I think the animation and phrases they have are really cool. And I do love the green glowing eyes and mouth. Like the sculpt of their faces are really cool. I do like the woman's face. I love kind of like the ghostly look to them, and the costumes are really awesome too. I've seen some, you know, mixed opinions on these. Overall, they're one of my favorites this year just because of the concept and animation they have, and they're definitely gonna be one of my pickups I think for this year. They are retailing for $249.99 and made by a company called FU. Not, you know, what you think it is, but it's like 𝐹𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐸 company. They've made some animatronics in the past, and they have made another animatronic this year, which we'll talk about later. But I think these will be one of my pickups for this year. I also do love the scenery they do with the videos, and I think this one with the fire looks really awesome, which I think makes me love these animatronics a little bit more. But I think just, you know, the green glowing eyes and mouth for, like, you know, the radiation, toxicity, theming, and, you know, the animation and everything else about them I really like. So hopefully they'll be ones I pick up for this year, but we'll have to wait and see. Next is what I'm very excited to talk about, as this is one of my personal favorite variants of this animatronic we've seen, that being a brand new Michael Myers animatronic will be coming to Spirit Halloween for 2026. Now, this Michael Myers animatronic is special because it's based off of the original Halloween 1978 movie, and is in collaboration with Trick or Treat Studios and Seasonal Visions. Now, we actually did see this animatronic last year, however, it was canceled due to the ongoing tariffs. But now we're seeing this guy return for 2026, and now is being sold at Spirit Halloween. Now, I love this Michael Myers animatronic in particular because it does feature the Trick or Treat Studios 1978 Halloween mask, but the animation is really, really cool on this one, as he features his head tilting as seen in the movie, as well as hand movement with his knife. And another thing is he actually plays the theme from Halloween 1978 and Laurie's theme. Now, as we said in past Michael Myers animatronics, they don't exactly play the Halloween theme. They're usually some off-branded it's kind of sounding similar, but they're not the exact Halloween theme. And as the licensing is hard to obtain for this music, but with Trick or Treat Studios, of course, owning the 1978 licensing, we're able to see the actual music from the film with this animatronic, which is something we've been waiting to see for a long time, and I know a lot of fans are excited for it. These will be retailing for $349.99, which isn't a bad price, honestly, for him, for the movement he has, featuring the music, and he's an official licensed character from the 1978 movie, which can't get better than that. Next up, we're going to talk about the Buzz animatronic, which this is also made by the FU company, which we talked about earlier. I love this animatronic a lot, as I'm a huge fan of insects, and especially flies in particular, which I love the Fly movie, and this animatronic is perfect for anyone who enjoys insects and flies. He does retail for $169.99, which isn't a bad price. This animatronic does remind me a lot of the Night Owl we saw last year and Wanda Wentworth in 2024, both being made by SVI. I did like those animatronics somewhat. I wasn't a big fan of the Night Owl or really Wanda Wentworth, but I do like Buzz a lot just because I think the detail on him is really cool. And of course, I have to include the wings flapping as well, but I love the red beady eyes of him. I do think he's a pretty neat animatronic overall, and I'm pretty excited to see him in stores. Next up is the Carnival Creeper made by 𝐃𝐀𝐫𝐤. Now, if you've seen a Nightcrawler animatronic in the past, which I actually own the prototype, believe it or not, yeah, I know, look at me. He's very similar to the Nightcrawler animatronic, where he starts in the down position on all fours and pops up. It was coming. We were definitely going to see some sort of clown variant of that animatronic, and I think it has been kind of rumored in the past we were going to see it, and I think people have kind of made their own ideas for it. And now that we're actually seeing it, it's okay. I mean, I do like the look of him a little bit. I think the face is decent. The color choicing is nice with the white and black and the yellow and black and the kind of the blue ruffle. I don't think he's one of my favorites of this year. He kind of seems like one of those, last minute ideas where like, oh, let's take a concept we've done in the past, but change the variant of it, this time being a clown. Of course, why would it not be a clown? But I'm sure there's a lot of people who do like him, and for the price of $229.99, it's not a terrible price. I think Nightcrawler was around the same price, maybe $199.99, but I'm pretty excited to see him in stores and see what everyone else's opinions are of him. Next is definitely going to be one of my top 3 favorites for this year, that being the Jeremy Jaws animatronic, as he's of course a zombie. As I mentioned, I love zombies, and I really like the concept and animation of this guy with his eye dropping and his mouth dropping. He was what I was looking forward to see from the leaks we saw last year. I really do like this guy a lot because he's a zombie, but I also love the clothing and the face and the sculpting. Everything about him is really cool, and I'm really glad we're seeing some more zombie animatronics. And for a price of $249.99, that isn't bad. He's made by Seasonal Visions. We have seen some zombie animatronics made by them in the past, including the Flesh Eater Zombie, which is one of my favorite zombies of all time, and the other one being Deadlift Zombie, which is over there off camera, being made by YJ. I would love to see him come back, and we've seen Flesh Eater come back in the past, but I think we just see more zombie animatronics at Spirit Halloween, and we did see Rick Ratman back in 2024. I unfortunately didn't pick him up, and he's definitely on my list to get sometime in the future. Maybe Jeremy Jaws will be on there as well if I don't get the Doomsday Duo. We'll have to wait and see, but I do like Jeremy Jaws a lot. He's definitely in my top 3 for this year, but we'll have to wait and see if that changes. Alright, next are what are kind of known as budget animatronics, which is something they've been kind of introducing for the past few years. Starting off with Night Stalker, I think. There's a lot of animatronics with Night and Stalker in the name. He was the Pumpkin rebrand animatronic we saw in 2024. He was mainly an in-box animatronic and a filler for some animatronics that were in the displays, but these budget animatronics are on the lower side for the prices, and they're kind of smaller for those who are getting into, collecting animatronics and starting haunted houses, which I think are a great idea. We have seen budget animatronics at different retailers, and they're not really the best quality, but seeing now budget animatronics come from Spirit Halloween, I think it's kind of a great idea, and some of these are pretty cool. First one being Wind Up Wally. I do like him a lot, and for a price of $169.99, he's not that bad. I think the animation on him is decent. He kind of starts in a down position, and the key on the back of him starts winding, and he pops up, and he talks, and his mouth moves. I kind of wish there's a little bit more animation to him. I wish kind of like the arms moved, like how those creepy dolls do. You wind them up, and they pop up, and they start, moving around and such. I think that would have been a cool addition to add to him. But at least we got the mouth moving. That's a plus. I'm curious to see if he's going to be set up at all in the stores. He most likely will just be a box only / filler animatronic. We'll have to wait and see. He's made by the company Party Time, which we have seen some kind of budget-friendly animatronics made by them in the past. He's an okay animatronic. I do like the look of him a little bit. If he kind of played more of a clown toy doll animatronic, I think it would have been a nicer touch. But I'm curious to see if he'll grow on me at all, and kind of what I'll think of him during the Halloween season itself. Next is the Lady Misfortune Witch animatronic, which I was pretty excited to see her when I saw her initially on the Polaroid photo in the Halfway to Halloween teaser. But now kind of seeing her up close and seeing some of the videos on her, I think she's okay. I do like the concept of the floating orb in the middle. Now, she is a budget animatronic, and I won't give her that much hate, as she only does retail for $100. And I think she's a decent witch budget prop. I think on the cooler side, as she's not just a regular witch holding a broom, she's actually holding an orb, it's floating, which you don't really see a whole lot often in these animatronics. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt of that. But she's not one of my favorite witch animatronics I've seen. I do like the maroon cheesecloth tatted kind of robe they added to her. I like when they add like a maroon-ish looking clothing to witch animatronics. We don't get a whole lot, and it's kind of nice to see when they do. But she's kind of, you know, a regular green witch animatronic with gray hair, with a pointed witch hat. She's one I definitely see a lot of people picking up based off the price, and she's of course a budget animatronic for those who are looking to get into animatronic collecting and haunt building. So I'm excited to see what people do to her in their haunted houses and how they incorporate her. But I think she has a neat concept. It would definitely be cool to kind of revisit the floating orb in the future with a more elaborate, expensive animatronic for a witch character, or maybe a wizard, or some other character with some magic powers. Not the company. But like a wizard or a witch would be kind of cool to kind of see in the future use this concept. I'm hoping we do see it more, as I do like, you know, witch holding orbs and like magic balls. It's definitely a neat concept that I hope we can kind of revisit in the future, which I hope we do, as we do need some more witch animatronics in our lives, especially from Spirit Halloween, as they've done a pretty good job on witch animatronics in the past. So maybe it's something we can see in the future. Next on the list, I'm not sure this is a budget animatronic. I kind of forgot to talk about him earlier, but I'm going to say he's a budget animatronic just based off of how he looks. But the Trash Bandit, which is a raccoon popping out of the trash, which we've seen at Party City, and now actually Haunted Hill Farm is bringing it back. I do prefer that one a little bit more than this one, which that one's made by Techie. And this one being made by Crazy Create, kind of similar company. I think it's a decent animatronic. I do like how the trash can is up rather than on its side. I kind of wish the Techie animatronic had done that. But I just don't think the face of this one looks all that interesting. It just doesn't really look like a raccoon, especially a zombie raccoon. And it's just a head on a cloth that looks like garbage popping out. There is one thing cool about him, though, that being he is UV reactant. He does have some graffiti on the trash can that reads "Keep Out," and there's some slime and kind of other splotches on him. He would have been really cool to see in the train station theme last year. It would have been nice to have like a UV light pointed down to him and he pops out. But I think for this year, I think it's a budget prop. You guys can correct me in the comments below. He could have been a lot better. It just doesn't seem like something Spirit Halloween would sell. He doesn't really appeal to me all that much. I do prefer the Techie Raccoon Zombie animatronic a lot more than this one. But that's just kind of my own personal opinion. I'll give this one the benefit of the doubt just because of the UV reacting trash can. That's the only thing I do like about him, but I'm excited to see him in stores, and maybe he will grow on me in the future. But as of right now, he's not one of my favorites for this year, unfortunately. Now, finally, for the ones that have released thus far, 𝐅𝐞𝐤, I think might be one of my favorite budget animatronics. He does retail for $149.99, and I do like the look of him a lot overall. He is a kind of a kid wearing this pumpkin head, holding a knife and spoon. I love the ghost pajamas and the red cape. It's not something we see a lot with like kid animatronics, where they're kind of dressed in pajamas and, you know, wearing a kid kind of related outfit. I wasn't initially expecting him to be this cool when they first saw him in the Polaroid photo, but he has grown on me a lot, and maybe it's something I pick up at the 50% off sale. I can definitely kind of use him in a creepy abandoned bedroom scene, and I think it would look really cool on that, and I could have some smashed pumpkins on the ground. I've kind of thought about how I'd include him in the haunt. I'm not sure I'll pick him up though. The only thing I did wish he did include, and they don't usually do this a lot with the knives, is have blood or pumpkin guts or that on him. That's the only thing I'll say. And I wish we could see more of these style animatronics in the future, like trick-or-treaters, and that sort of thing, like a Reaper and a Witch. A clown one would be pretty cool. I did like the Bloody Ghost trick-or-treater we saw from Techie Toys, but I think Spirit Halloween can definitely do a better job with trick-or-treater animatronics. I do like this animatronic a lot, as I've mentioned, and I might pick him up. We'll have to wait and see, but he's definitely going to be on my list, I think, for possible purchases for this year. Now, there are some animatronics we kind of saw a glimpse of, and they have actually not been released yet, and there's a good amount of animatronics, and some of which are pretty cool, so we're going to talk about them real quick. So the first one being Pennywise, based off of the brand new series Welcome to Derry, which actually has been out for a while, but this Pennywise animatronic is based off of that TV series featuring the 2017 style Pennywise animatronic, which is, this is going to be our third Pennywise animatronic based off of that character from 2017. I do like him a lot. I think they could have done maybe a little bit better job with the kind of the makeup and paint job. I'm glad we're seeing a Pennywise animatronic return, and I figured we're going to get one from the recent TV series. He isn't really my favorite of the released so far. I think he might be my second one. The first one being the one released in 2019, seen in the SS Riptide. This one might be my second because of the bloodied outfit and the stance of him and the animation. I think that kind of makes him a little bit more better than the super great one. But he's definitely one I'm looking forward to seeing in stores and videos of him when people get him and start setting him up. Next, we are getting another Ghostface animatronic, and this one I actually like a lot. Now, the reason why I like this animatronic a lot, and I'm kind of getting tired of the Ghostface animatronics, but we are getting some new movies, which is why, so it makes sense, but I'm starting to like this one a little bit more than kind of ones we've seen in the past, and the main reason why is his mask actually kind of pours blood in it. Now, it does remind me a lot of those masks we saw a long time ago with like the bleeding skull, and they did have the Ghostface variant of that. So it's kind of a callback to that, which I really do like. I like the animation where he kind of pops up. We don't have this full video yet, just like the remaining of these animatronics, but I'm excited to see the video when it does release, including for these other animatronics. And he's another one I'm pretty excited to see in stores. I know he'll be a lot of you guys' pickups for this year. Next is Harmonica Hank, which is actually a Bluetooth animatronic and actually was supposed to be releasing in 2017 in the Spirit Hollow Bridge. He was featured in the concept art. He did look a little bit different, but we can kind of tell it's Harmonica Hank. This one I'm okay with. I do like the look of him a lot. I like his eyes, and I think he's a kind of a neat addition to the Bluetooth series for animatronics. He won't be one I pick up, but he's definitely one I can see a lot of people picking up. The phrases he does have without the Bluetooth sound alright. They're not my favorite, but I think a lot of people will use him more for a Bluetooth side of things. I'm curious to see what people do with him in the haunts, and he's one I'm definitely excited to see in stores as well. Next up is the Willow Witch. I'm a little iffy on this one. The only reason why is the pink hair. I just don't think that makes sense. I think the gray hair would have looked fine for her. The only thing I do like about her is she's actually interactive, and I believe you can talk to her and she somehow talks back to you in a way. And I think she has 30 phrases of some sorts, which is interesting. There was some box art leaked of her that we can kind of see what she does and how she's interactive. So I'm curious to see kind of how people use her and how they're going to use her in stores. I'm very interested in her. The only thing is the pink hair, and it's different, which isn't a bad thing, but I honestly would have just preferred, I think, the gray hair and more of a creepy looking hag. Would have been my personal preference, but I'm excited to see the interaction aspect of her, as this is a new iteration to the interactive series we're seeing where they're following you, but now you can actually talk to the animatronic. We'll kind of have to wait and see what that kind of entails, and especially the 30 phrases as well. Next is the Screaming Reaper, which really isn't a whole lot to say about him. I do like Reaper animatronics. This one is only like 3 feet tall and just pops up. There's not really much to him. I am curious to see if he's a budget animatronic or not. I have to kind of wait to see what his price is, but I'm not all that interested in him, so we'll kind of have to wait and see what he does after video releases and when people start getting him. But he's kind of what I'm excited to see in stores, and maybe he might be one I pick up. We'll kind of wait and see, but he's not, one of my favorites out of the bunch for this year. Next is the Bach Monster, which once again, isn't really one of my favorite animatronics for this year. I don't really like the look of him. I feel they could have done a lot more with his clothing. They kind of have this jute, or kind of like, I think it's jute meshing to him. He kind of, the face is decent. I think it would look really cool with creepy cloth for him, and put some leaves in him and put him by a swamp. I think it'd be kind of a neat concept to see in people's haunts. I think there's definitely some things you can do with him, but it's kind of like a standalone animatronic. I think he's okay. I'm not sure what his price is just yet, so I don't think it's gonna be anything over $200. But I'll have to wait and see if he kind of grows on me at all in the future. But he's a decent animatronic. I'll give you that. The concept is interesting. We don't really see a lot of bog monster animatronics, so I'll say that. But he's not one of my favorites for this year. But we'll have to wait and see if he does end up growing on me in the future. Last but not least is one we have seen before, released in 2013, a part of the Clown Train, which we're getting a lot of Clown Train animatronics. Last year we got Silent Deadly, and now we're going to get Dead Humor Clown, which was one of the animatronics I loved back in 2013. I actually own the Rising from the Grave Zombie, which this guy features the same animation where he starts in the down position and pops up. I was initially going to get him in 2013, but I did end up getting some other things, so he might be one to pick up later this year. But I love how they did keep the original look to him and his original phrases. As your phrase, he only has one. I'm curious to see what his price is. I'm wondering if it's going to be $200 or less. I'm hoping maybe around the $159 mark where he was originally priced back in 2013. I'm glad he's returning, and it's definitely a long-awaited character to see come back. But I think him returning the Super Halloween for this year is definitely a nice touch, and I'm curious to see if he'll be in the display or not. And he might be one to pick up or in the 50% off sale. We'll have to wait and see, but he was one of my favorites back in 2013, so there's a slight chance I do pick him up later on in the season. Okay, that was a lot. My throat is dead. It's been a while since I've done any of these kind of talking about Super Halloween animatronics, but we did get through it. This is about an hour-long video, so it's going to take a while to cut, so it might come out tomorrow. So yesterday the teaser might have dropped, and I'll release this tomorrow, depending on how long it will take to edit. But overall this year, Spirit Halloween does seem promising. I think it's going to be definitely one of my favorite in most recent years. I'm very excited to see Camp Harbor Lake when stores do open for the season, as I love the fall-related themes, and I'm really curious to see kind of how they go about the theme and kind of what animatronics they include and how everything kind of plays out in the end. There's a lot of animatronics we have not seen yet, which I'm very excited to see kind of what those animatronics are. We kind of saw a sneak preview in the initial teaser that dropped, so we'll have to wait and see when these other animatronics come out. But I'm excited to see what other animatronics we are going to get for this year at Spirit Halloween, and to kind of see how the 2026 season goes. Alright, thank you everyone for watching this video. It's a little rough kind of getting back in the swing of things, but I'm excited to make videos once again on the channel. I'll be doing some more Halloween store walkthroughs. At Home and Michael's are getting in their Halloween, so we'll definitely be heading over there soon to film what they got. But yes, the Halloween 2026 season is starting to arrive, and I'm very excited for it. And tell me what you guys think of the Spirit Halloween drops in the comments below. What are your favorites? What are some things you don't like about the animatronics thus far? And what are you excited for most for Spirit Halloween 2026? Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next Halloween video.